What if the very goals you set for your business acquisition, the targets that fire you up, the timelines wrote down on January 1st, are the exact things holding you back from buying a business? I know that sounds counterintuitive, but just stick with me just for a moment because what I'm about to unpack might completely shift you thinking about the deal making. Hi, I'm John Stoddard. I've helped buyers close 33 million in small business acquisitions, and I've raised 50 million to fund deals. I help first-time buyers find, fund, and close their first business without wasting years chasing junk deals or losing sleep over rookie mistakes. If you're out there looking for a deal, this video is for you. So let's dive in. Let's start with the trap no one's talking about, the tyranny of the big number. I talk to buyers all the time who say, I want to buy that $5 million business this year, and I'm trying to close 2 deals by Q4. I need 1 million in SDU, or I'm not even looking at the deal. Okay, cool. But why are you doing that? Is the number actually rooted in strategy or just in ego? Because here's what happens when we chase big, arbitrary targets. We start bending reality to fit the number. We ignore those red flags, and we fall in love with shaky deals because they're big. We try to convince ourselves we can fix any business that's barely cash flowing, just so we hit that number. I've done over 160 interviews with top M&A entrepreneurs, and some of those stories are about this. I mean, does that sound familiar? It reminds me of what Warren Buffett once said, it's better to buy a wonderful business at a fair price than a fair business at a wonderful price. But if your goal is to hit a big number, not a wonderful business, you'll flip that wisdom upside down and you will pay that price. I saw this firsthand with a guy, and we'll call him Zach. Zach wanted to buy a $3 million revenue ecom business by the end of the year, non negotiable. He had investors lined up, capital ready, LOI templates prepped. The problem? He ignored that the seller was running $500K in personal expenses through the books and calling it profit. Instead of pushing for clean financials, Zach adjusted his underwriting to make it fit. He bought it anyway. 12 months later, underwater. Why? Because the deal hit the target, but the goal wasn't grounded in value. Let's talk about the collateral damage that comes from chasing acquisitions goals way too aggressively. One is you're going to overpay just to stay on that timeline. Two is you'll skip due diligence because you're behind on the target. And three, you'll stretch your capital stack thin just to close a deal that looks good on paper. And you know what the worst part is? You stop thinking like a long-term owner and start thinking like a quarterly earning slave. This is where a lot of first-time buyers start to feel like they're on a treadmill and can't step off. Just ask any PE firm that bought 5 companies the last 12 months, overpaid, and now is dealing with this Frankenstein op stack, misaligned cultures, and zero cash flow. Growth for growth's sake, that's not a strategy. That's burnout with better branding. So what if your timeline wasn't the point? What if speed wasn't the win? Let's just reframe this just a little bit. Instead of saying, I want to buy a $5 million company by December, you said, I want to acquire a business with strong reoccurring revenue, low customer churn, and systems that run without daily founder intervention. Boom. Now we're talking a little bit more strategic fit, right? Now we're buying based on value. And you know what real operators do in this case? They build repeatable acquisition systems. They buy boring, profitable businesses with solid retention and upside baked in. And they build a playbook that says, here's how we identify, vet, integrate, optimize every single time they look at a deal. They don't chase scale, they attract it. And that's what the difference between a flashy acquisition is and a durable one. Buffett didn't build Berkshire Hathaway by Buffett didn't build Berkshire Hathaway by buying fast. He built right. And Munger, he always said, the big money is not in buying or selling, but in waiting. So maybe the question isn't, how fast can I close? Maybe the question is, how long can I wait for the right deal to show up? Because here's the truth. The best deal makers I know are masters of deliberate disruption. They walk away more often than they say yes. Buffett used to say, look, you have a punch card, you only have so many punches in it. Make sure those punches are the best deals. Let me show you what that looks like in real life. A client of mine, let's call him Drew, was eyeing a home service business doing $2.8 million in revenue. Owner wanted 5x SDE. It checked the boxes on his goal sheet, but something fell off. Customer contracts were handshake agreements. Revenue kind of spiked seasonally, and he was in a hot kind of southern state. Margins weren't predictable. Drew walked. 2 months later, another deal shows up. Smaller business, cleaner books, seller open to 50% seller note with SBA combo. Deal closed at 3.2x. Guess what? He's making more cash from the smaller deal with less debt, better ops, less stress, and a seller who stayed on to help the transition. That's the power of walking away. That's the power of letting go of the number. So the point of this video is, let's redefine what success looks like. Not how big the business is, not how fast you bought it, but how aligned it is with what you do well. That's how you scale without breaking. When you grow strategically, you can retain culture, you protect margins, you increase enterprise value, not just headcount. That's the playbook that smartest private equity firms use. That's the playbook I teach, because your first business acquisition shouldn't be a gamble in Las Vegas. It should be a foundation. So if you want this playbook, I used to help buyers go from working full-time to business ownership. Grab my book in the description down below. It's $19.99. It's packed with deal strategies, financing hacks, and structured tips to save you time, money, and stress. You don't have to do this alone, and I'm here to help. I'm John Stoddard, and I'll see you on the next one.